All right, welcome back to Two Super Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Vinny,
I'm Dylan.
and today we're going to talk about Alibaba. It's a big week for Alibaba. Their earnings are expected sometime this week. They didn't officially declare when their earnings date's going to be, but rumor is it's going to be sometime during this upcoming week. So I wanted to see what we're expecting and kind of update a little bit on some news stories that have happened with them in the past couple weeks.
Yep, and we do disagree on where this is going, so it should be interesting. If you like this kind of entertaining stock market content, give us a like and subscribe. We're just two average guys trying to figure out the market, if you will. So,
with that, we'll get to it.
Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks.
All right. You want to show us what you're thinking as far as like the stock chart there goes?
yes. So this is a little bit up in the air. One, we do have a couple events: the earnings date, and also I don't know if it's going to affect BABA necessarily, but the Fed meeting is Tuesday and Wednesday. It's not really directly towards BABA, but still bad
market.
Bad stuff can happen. So we kind of had this dip here with a big high volume rejection hammer. We then went lower. We're kind of formed a little hump, and we came back down here. I actually think that this is going to continue lower. Vinny's on the other side of this. I don't like the volume on the up days and the volume on the down days, to be honest with you. So that's kind of where we're at. The absolute low is at 138. The big support is 128. So yeah. I think we might get down there.
You think so, huh? Wow. Okay. Maybe. I mean, we did do that video where you saw on technical basis, like maybe not buy till 125 is somewhere in that ballpark. Mm-hmm. I thought this to me, and like I am not the technical analysis guy, but I thought it looked like a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders pattern. That's kind of what I thought I saw there.
It definitely does. The reason why I don't like it is because this part came up on virtually no news.
True.
This is kind of a big jump up on fairly low volume, and there's no like reason. Like it didn't come out that China has world peace or something. Like nothing was said.
Completely understood. Yeah.
Just came up.
There are a couple of things I wanted to talk about as far as like Alibaba news goes. So this came out relatively recently, just this end of this past week, where they talked about Alibaba now having improving their market position within Europe. They're actually in the top 3 in Eastern Europe. Did you know that as far as like e-commerce retailers?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I forget the top 2 is like Wild Cherries, which I guess is a Russian e-commerce one. I think it was called Wild Cherries, and then there was a Polish e-commerce company that was number 1. In terms of all of Europe, they're not even in the top 10 though. They're about 2.9% of the total e-commerce market share. Amazon controls about 20% of Eastern Europe.
Right. Who's the big one?
Europe.
Do we know who the big one in Western Europe is?
I'm not sure who exactly. I know the article I read did reference Amazon specifically being 20%, but they didn't say if they were definitively the market leader in Western Europe.
Got it.
But, they have this kind of big push for their 11/11 sale coming up, and Alibaba is basically subsidizing some of the shipping to Europe in order to try to hopefully take some market share as part of that sale.
What's on 11/11?
11/11 is like a major holiday kind of push for the Chinese retailers.
Oh, is that the Chinese Singles Day? Is that what?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Chinese Singles Day. So earnings, they haven't actually announced when they expect to disclose them, but it is estimated to be this week sometime, this upcoming week. We're recording this on Halloween, actually. Happy Halloween. But they're looking for about $1.99 in EPS and about $32 billion in revenue. This would be the second fiscal quarter for Alibaba. The big thing that I will be looking for in the earnings report is how Alibaba Cloud is faring in terms of the year-over-year growth. They were growing at like a 50% year-over-year clip, and then they kind of slowed down in the previous quarter to about 29%. So that's going to be the metric that I'm looking for.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely going to be an interesting week because earnings is so all over the place. And as you can see, I'm glad you have the slide in there. I was going to say they beat all the time, and it just seems not to matter.
Yeah. So. Yep. Yeah. They're pretty good at consistently kind of, beating their numbers there, which is, you love it, but it's sometimes it's a little bit of one of those things where you get into like Microns of the world where they always kind of temper the expectations so that the stock doesn't really perform very much in terms of after earnings, even though it's a major beat.
Yeah, they do that every single quarter.
Yeah, exactly. Some companies are just good for that. So this was one of the news stories that was kind of relatively recently. Alibaba launched a new server chip. It's still an area I'm learning a lot in, also being a shareholder of Intel. But their new server chip is on the 5 nanometer architecture. It is an ARM-based chip, kind of like Apple does with their M1 processors.
M1 processor.
Exactly, yeah. So it shares a lot of similarity there. But if you look at the M1 Pro, which was just launched, I think it was last week, the M1 Pro has, I think, 32 transistors as opposed to the Alibaba, I forget what it was called, but their server chip is going to be 128 transistors. I want to say something like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a server chip compared to a desktop chip, so they're not in the same league.
Not really fair.
Yeah, exactly. But just to tell you, that is, some pretty impressive hardware from what I can understand. But interesting. So see where they can go as far as stealing some market share. They also announced that they are going to be providing cloud services for the Malaysian government.
How much sales does that equate to?
Yeah, I didn't see a sales figure attached to that, but I don't know. Maybe Malaysia has a lot of needs for deep learning technology.
Fair enough. I mean, hey, I bought shares, so
yeah, no. I looked at my because I have it spread out through 3 different accounts, and I'm like, all told, I'm about 90 shares and like $172-ish cost basis about there. So slightly in the red right now, but I'm fine with that position. So Dylan wanted to kind of highlight here as far as what a more classic head and shoulders pattern would look like.
Yeah. So basically, there's no there are perfect head and shoulders, but it doesn't happen that often. The left, the blue with the yellow arrow, that's like a perfect inverse head and shoulders, right? So a head and shoulders, but upside down. The yellow's kind of where we are at in that pattern. Obviously, we're trying to predict. Vinny's thinking it's going to go higher.
I mean, it's tough to predict, right? Because earnings kind of can really bust the trend of a chart.
It completely, which is why I don't ever try to predict around earnings, because it could open at $200. I don't know. They could be like, we made $50 billion. Its earnings is a crapshoot for technical analysis, to be honest. It kind of ruins everything. So it's good for like a week after earnings to a week before earnings. So you got like 2.5 months of good technical analysis.
Okay.
That's out the window.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens as far as this trend goes and whether or not Alibaba breaks it this week after they report their earnings.
And just to be clear, for those of you saying Bob is definitely going higher, I think it's going to go higher eventually, and I am buying shares. I bought shares when it crossed the 50. I am accumulating shares in my big account because I'm very happy with an average price of like 165. That's great.
Yeah.
I'll buy it 180. I'll buy it 190. I'll buy it 200. So I'm still buying shares. I still think it's a good buy. I just think it's going to go lower before it goes higher.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely one of 2 distinct possibilities, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's really all that can happen.
Yeah,
it's either higher or lower.
Yeah, I mean, from the I'm still learning this kind of chart analysis stuff, but it seems like the 160 level is kind of important as far as whether or not it holds that level in order to determine whether or not it's kind of formed that or broken that neckline, basically, right? Is that what you would interpret as like a neckline?
Yeah. So basically that here, you want to go back to my chart? I'll show something. So I have it right here. You're looking at this number right here. So this is the big high volume. 152 is the massive support. You have so much volume in this 160 range. So 160-ish, but if it breaks 152, I'm not feeling too happy about that coming higher. That makes sense. We got a big hammer right here on big volume. Not digging it.
I remember that.
Yeah. No, it was a great day. I bought it and I sold here when he had a full day sell off. So I mean, it kind of worked out a little bit. It wouldn't be a bad idea because of this strong support. I just thought of this to maybe, if this goes down a little bit, to maybe buy 150 put, covered put. That might not be a bad idea. That might be
interesting. Yeah.
If it goes below it, I'm very happy with a 150 strike price, so it's fine.
Yeah, like a cash secured put. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, cash secured put.
Oh, okay. I completely understand.
What did I say?
You said buy a covered put. That's why I was a little confused. I'm like, wait, what? Like, you want insurance in your share?
My bad. Sorry. Sell a cash covered put.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. Yeah. I mean, yeah, right. You do know there's some pretty strong support there, and you're probably gonna get some IV crush after earnings reports too, because you have a very binary event in terms of moving the stock. So, even if you're not right per se, you can still make money because of the IV crush.
Yeah, I'm definitely I might do that. Actually, I just kind of looked at this. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I think I might put on a debit call spread actually expiring this Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little aggressive. I think we'll see. I mean, my risk reward ratio is not gonna be great. I only have like $150 in cash in that account, anyways. But I think that's my trade as far as this goes this week.
Is this in your stim?
Yeah, it would be my stim account.
I still haven't touched mine. I'm still cash.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm just hovering right around $1,000 now.
All right, dudes.
Yeah, well, let us know what you think about Alibaba earnings this week and what you'll be looking for, and if you're interested in playing it at all.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Let us know what's happening.
Catch you next one.